Welcome back, everyone, to episode 90
wow.
of the Lookout Podcast. I know, right? We're almost there. It's a little, almost freaking there. Of course, I am Meals. I am here with the Platinum Chanel boy himself, Jeff.
What is going on, man?
Bro, how many? 2 episodes last week. We came through.
We came through
with the Afternoon Delight. Shout out to Gabe Kunda.
Gabe was amazing.
That was incredible.
Oh man, it was so fun. I was inspired when we got off, dude.
Really? I love when that happens. I love when we have guests that we feel inspired because they're doing so many damn different things and they contribute so much.
Yeah.
And they're just like hustlers on their own and stuff like that. But if you haven't listened already, we dropped 2 episodes last week. One was the finale of season 4 of My Hero Academia, along with the tie-in time for that. And then, of course, on Friday, we dropped our interview with Gabe Kunda, who is the voice of Rocklock, Fisher, Tiger, I believe, in One Piece, and a couple other things, more important things than probably that, like Disney stuff and WWE stuff and a whole bunch of other stuff like that. So make sure you listen to that. But we could not do the finale of Tie in Time without a guest, and this is a guest that we've been wanting on for a long
overdue.
Oh my god, this is
kidding me? Absolute legend.
Legend in the flesh. Nah, for real. All I can say at this point is, well, I'm not even gonna say all I can say. I've known her for quite a long time. I've known her through her evolution and different podcasts to where she's at now. She absolutely deserves all the praise that she gets for everything that she does. I cannot think of a much selfless person. I can't think of someone who is great at their job. I can't think of someone who, I don't know, in just every facet imaginable deserves every bit of flowers that she's getting currently right now.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the show, Victoria, host of the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast. Welcome to the show.
Hi guys. Oh my god, you guys gonna make me cry.
Listen, I don't know if you know this. I haven't actually said this verbally because we haven't really talked in quite a while. But you definitely help inspire the things that we do on this podcast, especially when it's reaching out to interviews, just seeing how you do it and seeing how you carry yourself, and us just trying to replicate that, and even the interviews that you've helped us obtain as well, and things like that. Just everything that you've done. I just want to let you know that I'm fully 100% grateful for you and everything that you've done for everything.
For us, absolutely. You've definitely looked out and kind of helped me and Mills out along on our journey, and I could never. We look up to the whole movement. Truly, you got to know that.
I appreciate that because I just feel like I'm why hoard information? If I know something, I'm gonna try and share it. I'm gonna try and help.
Of course,
yeah, that's incredible.
Also, Meals, I'm gonna put you on the spot because actually, back in college, your This Goes In site was very inspirational to me because I was
wow.
I had a online site at the time and I was trying to rebrand, and I remember looking at your site and being like, I want to be like that.
Wow, Mills.
Wow.
So there.
Oh my god.
What are we doing right now? We're just complimenting each other.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not even sure how many people know This Goes In. I'm not even sure if Jeff knows what This Goes In.
I do not. Is. I know what it is, but I had no idea you were involved. What is going on?
Yeah, I've already that part of my life. I'm just so okay, that was a thing. That was amazing, and it was great. And I think it set the boundaries for anything. But I've accepted in the last 5 years or so. There are gonna be people that I meet who have no idea about that part of my life. But it was so just doing that. I think it was much sort of the building steps for everything that kind of came through now in terms of the diligence and the discipline and staying on top of it and all the journalism and all the other stuff like that. So wow, that's amazing. I did not know that. If it, she's already saying, I've known Victoria since college. We didn't go in the same class. She probably went in the direction I probably should have.
That's how I go, right?
To be honest with you, I was in engineering college, and you were. What did you end up graduating with?
I got the ad PR degree, communications.
Ooh, okay,
I should have done that.
I see y'all.
Fun.
I dropped out, guys. I have nothing to say.
I bet you have less loans than we do.
Hey,
100%.
no matter what, they're never getting that. It doesn't matter.
No, but seriously, like, so we've known each other for a long time. I know she also started a podcast, Nerds on Hip Hop, back with Marcus. Shout out to our mutual friend Marcus. How was that experience, and then transitioning to the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast? Because I know personally, I mean, the first podcast I was ever part of was Two Belts with Carlos.
Nice.
And it built such a bond over the last number of years that we did this. And before I started, branching out and doing other podcasts, I know personally, I was just like, let me see how Carlos feels about this. Like, and I called him and I was like, okay, how do you feel about me doing another podcast? How do you feel about just like this creative journey? And he was just like, yo, it's whatever, man. Just do it in the very Carlos way. You know how Carlos is. He's like, yo, whatever. How did you feel about kind of, first of all, getting into the world of podcasts and then transitioning from your Nerds on Hip Hop to the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast?
Yeah, and sorry if you hear anything in the background. There's like some knocking going on somewhere.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's police sirens in the background.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Exactly. But yeah, so I have to give full shout outs to Marcus, aka the Wolves Den, because he's the one who really got me into podcasting. Nerds on Hip Hop was his idea, and it kind of came from us just like having conversations and us just getting into random topics and realizing that we just had a really good rapport with each other. Like, we just talked for hours about random things. It was like, oh, we should do this. I have this podcast idea. Like, I'd love if you do it with me. And I was like, hell yeah! Like, I love nerd stuff. I love hip hop. Like, let's do it.
Right.
And then I think we did that for, I want to say 4 years. Just like navigating, like, I think I was in grad school, he was in grad school, and just trying to like do this thing that like was our one like nerdy outlet. And we got a lot of we ended up doing a lot of stuff. Like, we just randomly did stuff. Like, we were just testing things out. We applied for like panels, ended up doing a panel at Anime NYC and San Diego Comic-Con. And so that was really fun. And I think like at some point it was just like we couldn't keep up with it. Like, it was hard to like plan our recording times, coordinate. And then I think in the back of my mind, I've always wanted to do like a Sailor Moon podcast, Magical Girls podcast. And then I think one day I was just like, hey, how do you, like, same kind of conversation like you had with Carlos. I was just like, oh, I want to do this. How would you feel about it? And he was, more than supportive. He's like, yeah, do it. Like, I'll support you 100%. Like, go for it. And that's kind of, was how it began.
And then history was made forever.
Yeah.
Because the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast, I can't think of just a pillar in kind of all these anime podcasts, at least coming out now, and just kind of doing it. And I think you're super inspirational. First of all, very diligent. Man. You don't know, if you don't know already, she's very diligent in her guests. The fact that you can have every episode with a guest is not a feat that is lost upon me, by the way.
Because we know, trust me.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely doing it the right way. It's crazy.
We've had guests rescheduled. We've had guests dropped out. We had people who don't respond to emails. We've had people who do, and just the entire, I'm thinking of like, you're doing this for the most part about 52 weeks per year. Like, you haven't stopped, to be real with you.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that really helps me is I try to schedule things way in advance. So like right now I have like 4 episodes recorded. So I'm like backlogged, and it kind of is good, kind of bad, because like sometimes we talk about things and they'll be like, oh yeah, next week I'm going to be watching this thing, and like that is like the season finale or something, and it's like but it just kind of goes with it. And then I saved up money beforehand. Like, I came up with this idea in January and launched a podcast in March, and I just saved up money so I knew I could hire an editor, because that was another thing where I was just like, I cannot, with Nerds on Hip Hop, I learned like that was the thing that kept us from releasing episodes on like a schedule, I guess, or a set schedule. Is like, we were both busy. Like, we're like, okay, we would swap, like, you edit this one, I edit the next episode, but
right,
it was just too much. So I was just like, all right, I was just like looking at what Nerds on Hip Hop, like all the good, and then like thinking of like the challenges we had, and like, all right, what can I do to offset that? So like record in advance and like hiring an editor was like the only way. But yeah, like you said, like even now, because there's some like anniversaries coming up. I guess I can say. So the Sailor Moon drops 5-year anniversary is on April 12th.
Hmm.
For some
Yes.
reason, I thought it was on April 5th. So I just interviewed Javier Rico. He's the Bandai Namco social marketing and community
Incredible.
leader. Yeah, it was really cool talking to him. Just spoke to him earlier today, actually. And so and I was going to drop that next week, but then I realized the anniversary is the following. So now I don't know what episode's going to be next week. So I have to figure that out this week. So not to say that like my system is flawless,
Right.
but I try, and things work, and sometimes things don't, and you just go with the flow and try and figure it
Absolutely.
out.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, listen, a pro. That's always
Straight up. We already know.
a pro, nonetheless. Let's get in a little bit of the news from the week in terms of the anime world. We can kind of zoom through
Let's.
it because we have a really big Titan time. I mean, this is the finale of part 1 of Titan time.
Yeah, yeah. It's big time.
So we have that to get to, and a whole bunch of things we probably need to explain and or need to get explained to us, quite frankly. Couple big things that have dropped. I mean, there's the Anime Japan convention that's going on in Japan currently right now, and a whole bunch of news that's come out of this. You guys can tell me kind of how you strongly, if you feel anything or anything of the sort. If you don't, it is what it is. If you don't even, I don't watch this. That's even better. So we've
Damn.
gotten a lot of anime movies that are coming out. A
Yeah.
lot of anime movies. I want to start from
There's
the
only
one
one
that
that matters.
I'm starting from the one that's I'm least excited with to the one that I'm most excited with.
That's
So
fine.
I'm going to say the first one we got announced. Shout out to if you're a Black Clover fan. If you're a Black Clover fan, you might be going through it because this anime pretty much ended.
Yeah.
Um,
But salute. I'm not into it yet myself, so
yes.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I
So
haven't had time to get into it either.
yeah,
Look at that. Look at
Neither
that.
have I started. Listen, I
0
started
and
about
3.
I started chapter 1, 3 pages, and I was like, let me get back
Like
to
this
this
ain't
thing,
it,
guys.
huh? Yep, yep.
Let
It's
me get back-
tough. It's tough to get into.
Let me get back to the thing I was supposed to be reading. But for Black Clover fans, of course, maybe one day we'll get into that. Who knows? They didn't leave you completely hanging. They said, hey, we're going to drop a movie. Since we ended this anime so prematurely without anyone kind of thinking, we said, oh, we're going to drop a movie. We're going to drop a movie later this year. There's no other news except that they're dropping a movie. So shout out to you, Black Clover fans. I know Turtle Quirk is
Yeah.
a Black Clover fan.
Yeah, I see it.
Shout out to him. That's all I can say about it is that you guys there's a light somewhere. I don't even know if it's at the end of the tunnel, but it's somewhere there. I mean,
Black Clover is definitely one of those things that's going to get like redone again in 5 years.
oh yeah, for sure. Like Shaman King and like all the
Mhm.
other things that are
Yeah.
dropping. And spring anime. I have to look up what I'm gonna watch this spring.
No idea yet.
Okay, so I know Jeff and I have varying opinions on this in terms of what we consider the next most important thing. So
And that's just fine. I think this is fair.
I'm going to go with the one that's we're covering on this episode as the most important. But
Sure.
I understand the importance of this. Jujutsu Kaisen movie.
Mhm.
It is coming. It's on
It
chapter 0. I'm not
It
sure.
is.
Victoria, are you familiar at all with Jujutsu Kaisen?
I'm not. It's been on my list to watch though for a while, just because of everything I keep hearing about it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like it. I just haven't delved yet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, listen, she's constantly doing podcasts. What the hell are I?
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. All right. You'll get to it. You'll get to it.
We were prying
Too
about like
much.
whether you can watch
Yeah.
things anyway.
You got time.
Weekly basis. Subscribe to the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast.
Yay.
But yes, episode 0. I've read it. Jeff has more than read it.
Yeah, I've read it a few times. Volume 0 is I have it on order. It's a tough manga to get right now. It's on back order until June. Me and Jamal are actually just talking about this. But yeah, Volume 0 is basically Yuta Okotu's introduction to the series. It's about 4 separate chapters in that volume. I'm really excited they were going to turn into a movie. Me and Jamal actually spoke about this like a month ago, and I said they need to turn Volume 0 into a film. And they are. So yeah, I'm obviously excited for it.
Jujutsu Kaisen knows where the money's at.
They know
And
what's
they-
up. It's time. Yeah, they're gonna strike.
Yeah, absolutely. And then of course, third movie that we're talking about, the My Hero Academia movie. It is dropping August 6th in Japan. It is called World Heroes Mission.
Great trailer. Oh my god.
Looks good. just looks
awesome.
good from all standpoints and all type of levels for it. Very viral sort of screenshot from it that you see Deku, Ezekiel Midoriya, mass murderer.
We thought it was fake.
Mhm.
When we first saw it, Mills was like, this can't be real.
No, I mean,
Pause.
It did look fan. I mean, it was well done. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't think it was official.
this is for everyone who's been calling Deku a punk for the last number of years.
Yeah.
He's like,
It's your time.
Who's a punk now? Who's a punk now? Especially if you're reading the manga right now.
Those are the sirens coming for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, listen,
You know
it's a every episode, 90 episodes of
It's
this.
only
and
right. It's only right.
Mhm.
Hopefully those sirens will. I don't know. New York
Oh,
summer.
yeah, it's fine.
We're
like
gonna see
it.
more sirens. We're gonna have more
Yeah.
sirens. So those are the movies. We also have a lot of animes with this with this spring season that we're saying goodbye to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Once again, Victoria, if you've if you've read or watched any of this in terms of Dr. Stone or The Promised Neverland. The Promised Neverland, I highly recommend the manga at least, not the damn show.
Oh man, that's where we are now with that. I can't believe that's where we are with The Promised Neverland, where it's like, just read the manga.
Wow.
Damn, that's
both have been
crazy.
on my list too. Again, because I've just been hearing really good things, and that's good to know.
No, Victoria's in the best situation. She's literally going to be able to like binge all these things she hasn't seen. Like,
Yeah,
it's going to be so fun for you when you get there.
that's how I do. That's how I did Attack on Titan too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first season, I would say the first season of Promised Neverland is one of the best first seasons in anime that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's really good.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Second season is one of the worst second seasons I've
Oh
ever seen.
man.
Wow.
Oh man. I can't believe
In
we
anime.
did that.
I can't believe, I can't believe I turned into the read the manga instead of watch a Showtime.
They told Tokyo Ghoul to move over with like ruining the anime. Like,
yeah, because normally I don't care. Normally I'm like, yo, just watch whatever, whatever.
yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. I don't want to be that guy. But I think The Promised Neverland is such, for the most part, a really, really good story and a really thrilling sort of adventure, especially through the manga that everyone anticipated. And then it ends last Thursday, and it kind of ends on a very like weird note, like a very, very, very weird note. Jeff, did you see the ending?
I didn't, dude. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro.
Okay, all
I
right.
did
Well,
not see it.
Just
there we
gave
go.
up.
Yeah.
I fell off about 2 weeks ago. I just Dr.
Just
Stone
didn't
was
tell me.
phenomenal though, by the way. Like Dr. Stone was great. But yeah, no, I promised. I don't know, man.
I don't know. All right, I get it. Yes, Dr. Stone also ended. I believe a lot of the winter 2021 anime ended pretty much this week, including what we have to talk about next. Are you ready, guys?
Is it TT? Titan time?
It is Titan time.
Woo-hoo.
We're here. Okay, so we're here at the finale of Titan time. Well, at least or the finale of Attack on Titan, final season, part 1.
Part 1. Yeah, let's get
You
that
see how I did
situated
that?
first.
You see how I did that? I'm a pro.
That was great.
The pause was perfect.
Absolutely, a very pregnant pause. Nonetheless, how do we feel? All right, so how did we feel?
Man.
The news was announced today that
Yeah.
there will be a part 2 to
Surprise.
Attack on Titan, the final season. It has been. I haven't been surprised. I knew from the kind of the pacing of the show that there's no way they could end this with 16
Yeah.
episodes.
For sure.
There was some sort of information when the season began that was kind of misleading with DVD releases in terms of like, oh, this is how many episodes going to be.
You know
this
how
season.
it goes. Yeah.
I was just like, since when does DVDs dictate?
Because you know for a fact that when the final season comes out on Blu-ray, you're gonna have to buy it in 2 parts, maybe even 3 if they really want to get our money, and they're both gonna be like $60 each.
Yeah,
You know how it go, man.
yeah, absolutely.
Awful.
So we got the news this week that we're gonna have a part 2 that drops in winter 2022, which means I'm thinking a January release. January. Yeah,
for
I'm
sure.
thinking. I'm expecting anywhere from 10 to 13 episodes left, considering the manga. Yes, I have read the manga, so I kind of know what's going to go on. Victoria, have you read the manga? I'm assuming no, because you don't have time to.
I have not read the manga.
Good for you. Good for you.
True.
I'm gonna get it together one day. I
No,
really do
don't.
No,
want to read
you're
more
getting it
manga.
together. You're good.
I want to read more manga though. Like I have the Shonen Jump app, and I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it, and then I catch up, and then like I'll stop or something.
Yeah, you know what helps? I don't know. I got it on an iPad. I like
Mm.
reading it in that sort of fashion because everything is kind of wider. I'm used to reading it on my phone, like if I'm on the train or something, like I'm reading it on my phone and it's all kind of tiny. I mean, it is what it is. But now I got this kind of iPad and I'm reading it and I get to see all the full graphics and stuff like that.
Looks
Jeff,
great on the
I've
iPad.
been catching up on Jujutsu Kaisen, so I'm pretty
Yeah,
much at the
good
beginning of the
man.
Shibuya
I'm
incident.
reading My Hero. So
Okay,
this
look
is
at
great.
you.
Ooh.
Yeah,
One day our paths will converge, and
we're getting there. I promise.
we will have a discussion on this.
We'll have a big eyes episode, just you and I.
Yeah, just easily. So with that said, let's talk about this because Victoria, you said you had some thoughts on the finale of the show. Has it changed now since there's been the reveal of like there's going to be a part 2 of the season, or just like you're still?
It definitely changed, and I'm kind of happy now because like same thing. I went in feeling like this is gonna be a rushed ending no matter what they do, because like just the pacing of it, I was like something like there's not enough time to resolve all of these things unless you rush it. But
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? It's the finale. I'm going in like they've done a good job so far. Let's see how they do it. And then at the end, I was like, that's it. I even had a
Oh,
muse like, I don't know if I watched the finale. Like, what?
You had
oh
to go back and
yeah,
make sure you missed no episodes.
no,
Yeah.
she was like, I don't know if I watched the finale. Let me go back to this, and I was like, no, you watched the finale.
You
This
watch
was
the
it.
finale. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I looked it up and saw like they like just announced a part 2, and I was like, oh, okay, all right,
A
okay,
part
guys.
2.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, first thing I want to say about this episode was I'm holding the door open for you, Lena. I got the red carpet out. I'll you know how like what's the movie where they you throw your own jacket down, let her walk over the puddle? I would do that for her. That's how great this episode was. Fantastic. She was great in this one, man.
I mean, I would say if there was a star of this episode, I don't even know if she's a star of this.
I don't know if she's a star.
because people
That was great.
listen. Pete came out with them.
Yeah, I'm about to say she was about it. She was really about it.
She came out of stage left. It kind of really took it over. But Yelena, all right. So let's kind of talk about that
Yeah,
episode
let's talk
in
about it.
pieces,
Let's talk about it.
and we'll talk about it. So the Jaegerists have formally kind of taken over everything and anything in the city, and they have started segregating people as they did in Marley, which I found very ironic.
As they
But,
did in the United States.
The Jaegerists are like, okay, they're separating people by armband that you have, and it says black. Well, okay.
Here we go. That's what I'm talking about, bro.
I gotta have the black one, yeah.
Yeah.
So the black one is you didn't know a damn thing of what's going on. You were Bobo the fool. You didn't understand
That's not me.
anything.
I'm not wearing a black one.
You didn't drink. You drank the wine. Didn't know what's going on. Didn't care, etc., etc. The red one is that you drank the wine and now you switching sides.
Yeah. That seems like me. give me the red band. Put the red band
I'm rolling
on.
with the winners. I'm rolling.
I kind of
with the
like
winners.
this fluid tastes delicious.
I'm sorry, Commander
Spinal
Pixis.
fluid.
Please don't turn me
Which-
into a Titan.
Yeah. essentially. And then white means you've always been fake. You've been fake. You never.
Yeah, that's not me. I had to think about it.
You serve the wine to the people. Potentially, you may or may not have delivered an exploding chair to someone's office. Like that's what white.
I'm
means.
never getting over that chair. By the way, maybe the worst moment in Attack on Titan history right there.
Interesting. Well, let me ask you this, Victoria, since you're doing the show and we've been doing this for weeks. How have you felt about the 4th season thus far, in the grand scheme of things, compared to the rest of the show?
It was kind of left field for me because I binged it. So I watched season 1 like when it first came out, and then earlier this year I heard the last season was coming out. So I was like, let me binge it and catch up so I can watch the final season along with everybody. And so watching it has kind of been like, I think it might have been different if they had time between the seasons, but like going from like season 3 to season 4, it was like, wait, what's going on? I did kind of like it though, just because it brought back that kind of mystery angle. Because it's like, okay, why did Aaron, switch over? Like, what's he doing? And like, what's going on? So because at the end of season 3, I was like, okay, what's next? Like they kind of like made it almost, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And so I do like that they did kind of the shift into this, of Aaron like kind of just completely doing a 180 on everybody and just trying to figure out like what has happened in the past few years. But I don't know, it just feels like a different show sometimes.
This season did feel like a different show, just from like the perspective of how much the characters changed. I feel like I had so many lovable moments with a lot of these characters leading up to this season, and that's just just seeing them every episode or whatever. And now it's like you start to turn on a lot of these people, and then obviously people die. The Sasha thing really put a dent into everything that happened this season. So I definitely feel you on it feeling like a completely new show.
Well, everyone's changing. Everyone's showing a completely different side. Let's talk about the restaurant in jail, because everyone who was at the restaurant is now in prison. Armin can't use they're like, Armin, couldn't you just use the colossal time to break us out? And it's like, do you want to die?
Yeah, it's like they don't know him or something. Like, have you not seen this thing on many occasions? It's a nuke.
What I did with the harbor? Like,
it's a nuke. Yeah.
Like, literally called Colossal. Colossal.
So everyone's wondering, it's like, yo, I mean, this has been sort of the gist of the entire season, is that Aaron has changed. We don't know what happened to him. Like, he's gotten hair in places he doesn't have hair before. His voice is getting deeper, all types of shit.
Extremely handsome.
And
man buns.
Man buns. He's like, yo, he's different. He's a different guy. To which, Mikasa and Armin has been like, nah, he's still our friend. Like, we just gotta go talk to him. And then, of course, they go talk to him, and, Aaron two pieces Armin calls Mikasa a slave.
Yeah, we should talk to him. That worked.
So yeah, of course they're in the prison. Jean's like, yo, so how'd that talk go? And he's like, listen.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Like,
he's different. He just is. To which brings us Yelena, Onion, Capone, Grease.
Yelena.
Amazon.
How did you feel about that? How did you feel about Onion Capone's? Yo, who's in jail now? Like, I bet y'all wish y'all were free.
You
now.
Caught that?
My man was like, yeah, y'all had me under house arrest. Like, I didn't really feel that bad for you guys. I mean, it got pretty bad for an instant right there. But he's free. I mean, he's free. They're under house arrest. He's like, yo, you hate from? How you gonna hate from outside the club? You can't even get in. To be honest. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Grease a little bit. He doesn't have a large moment in the show. In fact, his moment is cut off very preemptively and very shortly. But the most egregious kind of speech that you ever had, I think the guy who ends up, he talking to Niccolo.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
He has, where I quote, you had the hots for a devil spawn who reeked of potatoes.
I wanted to jump into the anime at that point.
Yo,
I was very upset just hearing him say these. It's like, bro, have some respect, man. Somebody stepped up though.
And it's like, you're not even saying, like, you're saying in front of her parents, like in front of like her family, like this guy that loved her. Just no respect. No respect at all.
That's okay though.
I appreciate the resolve of her dad. I know her dad is like on this non-violence trip right now, but
that's okay.
Might have thrown a rock or a brick or something like that. I might have screamed. I might have exclaimed like, "You're an asshole" or something along those lines.
Yeah, I wouldn't have let him keep talking. That's for sure. I would have talked over him.
But with that said, Yelena murks him. Just off.
Yeah,
I love that. I was like low-key on her side for like 10 seconds. I was like, oh.
you can come on over.
Right.
Join the team.
She
pulled the glamour out. Let me tell you something about Yelena. First of all, she's an Amazon, tall, lovely woman. She's about her game. She reminds me of Sailor Jupiter, by the way. I love Sailor Jupiter.
Yeah.
We'll talk about her another day. But pulls the glamour out, shoots this man in the head and says, sorry, he's being disrespectful. Like
she was essentially like, we don't need people who are gonna call you guys devils. Essentially, like, we're all what Yelena believes that they're doing and what she says is the plan, even though I think Yelena is 100% insane.
She is.
Definitely.
a little crazy. She says our goal is to end the cycle of hatred and save kind of all the Eldians. And how do you save all the Eldians? By euthanizing all the Eldians. Never being born will truly lead us to salvation. And everyone's just like, yo, you you crazy. Okay, all right. Well, that was, I mean, I have nothing more to say about Yelena and her plan.
It's not. It's a crazy plan, but I mean,
it will
It
work.
does make sense.
It's not insane.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's get to the other side of the coin, because we see Gabi, who has been, I guess, for the safety of herself and others, because I'm thinking if she was trapped in that jail, they might have stomped her out. I don't know.
I still feel the same way about her.
Or she might have thrown a brick, might have gotten in a fight, might have called someone a devil or something along those lines, got scrapped.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. So she's by herself. Eren shows up. I'm not sure what Eren planned to do or planned a thing. Like, but Eren wanted her to call Marley and say, like, yo, I'm under attack. Like, what do you guys have planned to save me? Something along those lines. Mm-hmm. And what he doesn't know is that Peak, because I guess he's never formally seen Peak in her
I don't think so
form.
Either. Yeah.
Well, he's seen of course, the Titan in
right,
season 3.
But not her regular.
Right. So he hasn't really seen her. So she shows up, stab right to the throat of some guard, shuts the door, pulls out a gun, and I'm like, wow, look at the women in this show really kind of taking charge and saying,
we love it. We love it.
Turning the tides.
Does Eren not know Gabi's name?
I don't think so. No.
When he walked in, he was like, "Hey, girl who killed Sasha," and I was like, "Damn, dude."
I mean, honestly, what else is she known for at this point?
Very true. Very true.
That's all her importance is right now.
He knows Falco's name. He's like, yo, Falco.
Oh.
If you want to say Falco, do this. But Gabi, he's like, yo, girl who killed Sasha. I feel him. Peak. We get an exchange here. This is how. All right, I've been continuing the narrative that not only is Yelena is insane, but on a meter of insanity, she might be a strong 9. I think Eren is I'm thinking, Eren is a strong 12.
Yeah, I think he's completely lost his whole. Yeah. The way he reacted towards Peak in this situation, basically nonchalant. She's like,
hands out of your pockets, and what if I don't?
Yeah. What and. Go,
and not only that, he leans his forehead into the gun and says, if you're going to kill me, you would have killed me by now.
I'm a top dog. You can't.
You can't kill me.
You can't kill me.
And with Gabi pointing the rifle at him from behind.
So he don't even care
just
about
like
that.
Reckless.
Yeah.
And Gabi A1 with the...
Yeah, she does not give a damn about the plan.
Yeah.
She can shoot.
But essentially, I love that part of Eren saying, listen, you're not going to kill me. And Peak says, listen, if you use the Founding Titan's power, could you defeat Marley? To which Gabi's like, yo, what is going on here? These adults, it's like Rugrats or something. It's like, these adults are fucking everything up. What is going on here? Like, is this what's going to happen when I get older? That I'm just going to start turning on all my friends?
It's like they're undoing everything they taught her. They were like, this is the way, this is it. And now she's like, wait, what are you guys doing? You're going against everything you told me is right.
And, I think one of the funniest thing is, like, Commander Pixis says a couple episodes ago, the best way to tell a lie is to mix in a bit of truth within it. And that's what Pete kind of does in this instance when she kind of like, she's talking to Eren and she's talking to Gabi and she's like, Gabi, listen, are we Marlians or are we Eldians? And she's like, we're honorary Marlians. And she's like, no, we turn into Titans. They're never going to use us. Like, obviously people are beginning to overcome Titans with technology. There's going to reach a point where they no longer need Titans and they're going to kill us all. We need to figure out a way of how we're going to save ourselves. To which Eren, who I'm assuming is over in the corner, probably pricking himself on a brick or like a piece of wood or something, pulls up his finger and is like, yo.
He probably keeps a needle in his pocket or something.
I think he's probably cutting his own skin with his fingernail. This dude is weird, man. He's out of control.
He's got to keep something to cut his hand, something to cut his finger, something to cut something. Nonetheless, he's like, hey, you know what this means, right? Titan time. Anytime.
I'm bleeding. It hurts. I'm in pain.
So they make an agreement. And it's like, listen, if you jump on our side And if you show us where, all your spies are in the city, and if you do all that, then, you know, we'll seemingly work together. But none of these sides truly trust one another at this point. Which brings us to the ambush. I love this part. I'll be honest with you. I pre-read this a week ago to prepare for this finale of Titan Time. And then I ended up reading the rest of the manga because it gets so damn good. But we got to the part where they handcuff Peak and Gabi to one another so they can't transform. So if she does transform, she kills Gabi. Which I really... At this point in the show, it's like, well...
Transform.
Honestly, I thought she was going to still. Because like everyone's so ruthless in this show. I was like, at this point, that's not gonna stop nobody.
Yeah. What I didn't like is when they showed Galliard down in the cut. I was like, you gave it away.
You didn't like that?
No, I was like, you gave it away. Because I don't even think they do that in the manga, to be honest with you. Because I reread the manga, I was like, they don't show Galliard down there. You just under the assumption that there's more people. But they don't show him like give a little wink with the thing. So when it actually happens, so when the final part happens, they walk up to the roof of, I guess this building. Nonetheless, they meet up. They got Yelena, they got everybody there, guards, etc., etc. Peak walks over to the edge, and she's like, and Aaron's like, yo, point us out to our enemies, and she turns around and points to Aaron, and then
Aaron's like, oh, come on.
The floor collapses beneath them. Titan time. The jaw Titan emerges from the ground. He bites off Aaron's leg, and Aaron, who is mad that he's even got to this point, he's like, yo, I've been in control this far. This is ridiculous. And he's also like, I haven't turned into a Titan and punched somebody in the face for at least 2 weeks. Yeah, it's time. So he turns into a Titan. It's the rematch. And that's kind of, we see everyone's kind of rolling in. It's the plan that they planned out for probably like 6 episodes beforehand of like, we can't wait 6 months to go get these people. We need to go in now. So the Marleyan army, they're preparing. They've got the tanks. They've got the blimps. They've got everything sort of coming in. They've gotten the Titans on the ground. And, the final shot of this season thus far, part 1 of the season, is Aaron looking up at the blimp and knowing that Reiner's up there, knowing that it's time for the rematch. That's been, this has been built at least once per season. They're scrapping. So
I'm kind of tired of that, honestly. I'm like, can y'all just figure? Every time it's like so close, and it's like, nope, I'm back. Like,
yeah.
Can y'all figure this out? Like, and
Reiner never wins. By the way, he never wins.
Never.
I was like, you don't just, and like last time he was even like kind of defeated ahead of time, like he was kind of gave up. So I was like, okay. And he was like, nah, I'm gonna try again. Like,
right.
There are a lot of false finishes. I would say that a good bit. We watched it. We see this a lot with this show. It's like the really, really, really important characters that are, obviously Titans. They never really die.
Same thing with Levi and Zeke. Like I thought, this time I was like, for sure, he's gone. Yeah.
Did we even talk about Zeke getting put in his stomach?
Nah.
I was gonna say, let's talk about the status of kind of everyone in this show that's left thus far, because of course we started off the episode, which I 100% skipped. It's on my notes and I completely skipped it because I was ready to talk about Titans. So Zeke, after the last episode, which I watched literally right before this, which I thought was a great, amazing episode. Yeah, he is blown. I was about to say he's blown away by this entire situation. He is
good one. I like that. Good one.
No, it's not. It's I could have done better. He's willingly accepting death in this sort of situation, to which a Titan rolls up, a random Titan out of nowhere shows up, opens up their stomach, and puts him inside, similar like a kangaroo or a Kangaskhan or whatever the hell, Chansey. I don't know.
Didn't know this was possible.
Let's talk about the status of kind of everywhere in this episode. Zeke, I guess not dead.
Not dead. He's in a stomach. He's okay.
I also wonder, like, I'm like, does that, like, I know they didn't eat him, but I'm like, shouldn't that do the same thing? Because they're in the stomach. But
I'm sure that's why the Titan did it that way, because swallowing it, I assume, wouldn't have been good.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming he hasn't been, unless they announced that Attack on Titan is very, very sure on themselves of when someone's dead.
Yeah.
They are very like when someone's dead. So Zeke not confirmed dead. Levi, we are not sure what happened. We have not seen the once again. If
He's
you haven't
alive.
seen a body, we're not fully sure of the situation. Hanji and the rest of the Jaegerists are still kind of surveying the situation. Um, the main character gang in jail currently, as Titans are fighting above them, fighting around them, other type of situation. I'm sure they're like, Armin, do you want to turn into a Titan now? He's like, no, everyone will still die. And we've got this entire situation. I feel like, at least towards the end of the season, I thought, considering I've read what it is, I thought this was the best part to kind of end the season, because from here on out, it is on another level consistently throughout the rest of the show.
Oh, great.
Make me want to read the manga now.
I feel like it's always on a level.
No. But like, how they have like, of course we had the episode 5 where Eren meets Reiner, he turns into a Titan, they attack the city, blah blah blah. It's kind of on that level the entire time for the rest of the show, because there's a lot of things that go down. There's a lot of people who are involved in this. I think the idea of everyone has their plan on what they believe should happen to the existence of Marley. The rumbling is still a very much so realistic opportunity. A lot of characters have been introduced to the show. Where do they end up from there? A lot of people have because this is Attack on Titan, a lot of people may not make it out of the show because I guess they have to meet a death quota per season.
Gotta have it. It's only right.
Yeah. January 2022 is where I'm assuming this is going to pick up, and I think it's going to be, once again, it's going to be must-see television, trending every week. It gives me, not as if I didn't have a reason to live, I need to see out the end of this.
Right, you're like, I must stay healthy.
I must stay healthy.
Attack on Titan comes back.
Backs me up, something. I need to make sure that I am here to see how the show, at least animated, sort of ends. But Jeff, let's start with you in terms of your thoughts. I'm kind of like, how do you feel about where we're at in the show?
I wasn't upset with this being, the finale of part 1, especially with, I'm taking your word for it as far as things heating up after this. The wait is the wait. I mean, it's anime, so I'm fine with that. But I actually think that this was really great television, as far as just the story that they told in this short period of time. Obviously, I know it will come together on the second half, but to me, I'm still on this quest of like, I do feel like Attack on Titan is very, very close to competing and like truly just being the greatest of all time. And I mean that. I'm not just saying it because of where the show is and the hype of it and everyone's watching it or whatever, but everything that they've given us, this story, I said it before, it gives me that Game of Thrones, stories everywhere, characters everywhere, people dying that you didn't think were going to die. I mean, it's so in depth. I think this part 2 will cap it off for sure. Maybe we'll get a movie or something. I don't know. But in general, I honestly, I think Attack on Titan is it's one of one, man. It's this season right here really shows the diversity and like just how much things have changed since starting this shit, man. So yeah, I loved how it played out, and I can't wait for part 2.
Yeah, Victoria, any closing thoughts on this Attack on Titan final season part 1?
Yeah, I mean, originally I was like, what is this cliffhanger? Especially since like I've been binging. Like today I watched like the last few episodes that came out, so I was just like in a vibe, and it kind of just cut it short. But knowing that there's going to be season 2, and I mean a part 2, and hearing what you said about how it kind of takes off from here, it seems like this was a good place for it to kind of stop and like give us a rest, and then have us like watch the rest. Hopefully it comes out in January. But yeah, I like it. I'm definitely going to be watching when it comes back. I also agree, like I think it's in the GOAT contenders, up there, like you said, Game of Thrones, Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood. Like it's that great of a show, and I'm really excited. Like all the things that it does with like showing us how like war can be interpreted is not what I was expecting going into the show from the first season.
No,
Um,
definitely.
but the moment like you thought Aaron died in the first season, like I was like, okay, this show is good.
Absolutely. Expect us. I don't know if this goes without saying, but I'm going to say this. Expect us to be covering the show in full before it ends. Is what I'll say. When will we find the time to, re-binge the show and kind of talk about it on the full thing? Not sure yet, but expect it definitely
We'll
before
find
this
it.
this second part of the final season. Also, want to warn everybody
Warning,
formally,
warning, warning.
because not sure when the next episode of this podcast will be, but by the time probably the next episode of this podcast drops, the finale of Attack on Titan will have been, I don't know, manga eyes written, um, drawn. I don't know. It will be out. It will be released nonetheless.
Yeah.
Mangafied.
Yeah.
Manga-fied.
um, it will be drawn and will be released nonetheless. So I'm just saying, if you don't want any spoilers, do not click on that trending topic, because I'm sure they will spoil it.
They will.
You know, the final chapter is expected to be 139. It's expected to drop at the top of April. And that's how kind of we're going to get the show from there, the whole layout of the show from there. So, just expect spoilers, expect things, try to dodge it as much as you can, unless you want to read the manga. Honestly, I recommend everyone read the manga. I really don't care if you want to wait for the anime, but I think the manga is some great stuff, and I think you're going to be locked in for a full afternoon, evening, late hours reading this, because they do such a great job in this show of like leaving you with enough of a cliffhanger to make you say like, fuck, let me just read one more. Let's get into My Hero Academia season 5.
Yes. We're here.
My Hero Academia season 5. We're going to talk about the premiere episode right up next, so you guys stay tuned. And we're back. Okay, so the premiere of My Hero Academia season 5, it came out over the weekend. It's one of anticipated, but I'm going to keep it absolutely 100 with you. About 95% of this episode
It's pointless.
It's
You don't need it, but we're back.
You didn't need the whole episode, honestly.
no.
It's okay. We're back, though.
Really, legitimately, if you're tuning into this episode hoping for some sort of advancement on the plot, I would say open it on Hulu, wherever you get it, skip to the credits, and watch everything
and
after that.
That's it. Well, let me say this. I do want to give a deep appreciation to them just sticking to their guns, making sure we all know what every single one of those kids do.
It's very important.
What their quirks are and how much they do. I do like that they've shown that they've kind of honed and craft. It looks like everyone has control over what they have going on. But, I get it. They want to take 5 minutes out to let us know what each and every one of those. I know, right? What each and every one of those students do.
Victoria, do you have a favorite in Class 1A of all these people with quirks and stuff like that? Do you have any favorites in particular?
I love what's his name? I think it's Twerk is Dark Shadow.
Oh, Sukiyami, yes.
So cool. Yeah. Just super cool. Like every time I see him, I'm like, this dude is just like badass. Like
right, I know, right? Like, come on. Just a chapter about him, something.
Yeah. And Shoto after that too is really cool.
Of course. So I think this episode kind of just established, I mean, yes, they're doing this because there's 20 kids in the class. We're about to jump into an arc where we're using a bunch of their powers, and it's going to be not only 20 kids, but 40, might be even 41. 41 kids between Class 1A and Class 1B. That's a little spoiler, 41. But you can see it in the trailer, so it's not really that much of a spoiler. But you're going to be introduced to a bunch of kids in sort of this this joint training arc of the show. So it's very important that we know all the quirks for all these kids. But once again, it also shows they start off this episode with kind of the last remnants of season 4, with Endeavor kind of surviving the fight against Nomu, and I mean surviving like barely.
Yeah.
But I think that lit a fire under a lot of these kids who are trying to be a hero, and that's why they're I think, so efficient in this episode and what they do. I think everyone knows their role. It's not like Jiro, like for instance, Jiro, who is Earphone Jack in this episode. She obviously is like, yo, I got my ear to the streets, literally. And I know I know who's coming, who's going, who's doing anything of the sort. I can sort of figure that out. And they also have I forgot my man's name with the multi arms and stuff like that, who can change into various appendages as eyes. He's also on lookout. So it seems like there is a situation like, okay, these are clearly, and then they have the animal voice, who gets
He leveled up though.
and he's like, yo, birds, let me know, because he's not afraid anymore. He was a punk
The deep pigeon, the pigeon
yeah.
flew into the camera. It was hard, man.
He managed to get them. So there's clearly a bunch of roles that they know that they're good at. They're utilizing them to an extent. Did anybody in this show, or at least in this episode, stand out to you? Just stand out.
For me, it was Invisibility Girl, because I forgot about her. She came in clutch.
Don't we all?
I was
How
like,
ironic.
whoa, right?
Oh man, hi Ron. You know me. I love me some Froppy, man. I was really happy to see Froppy, man.
Froppy's great.
You know how I feel.
I loved the fact that Kirishima got to be on the hood of a car and then jump off the hood of a car.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
They always give him.
I like seeing Miro.
Yeah, Mirio was cool too. First of all, shout out to him putting himself in danger without a quirk, just diving into large bodies of water. He's like, oh my god, I'm drowning. Isn't this great, guys? Like, wow, I'm in danger. Still no quirk, but putting himself in danger. So the villains in this entire episode, or at least the people who are supposed to play the villains, are Nejuri Hato and Amajiki. I forgot his first name. But they are the villains in this sort of situation, but they're not really like villains because they all have like their own separate like weird quirkiness about, and not like quirk like their power, but quirkiness like, Hato's like, she's light and she's bubbly, but she's like villain you can't really take, and Amajiki is very antisocial, so he's not really like in your face about being a villain.
He would totally be me if I was villain. Like, I just want to go home. I don't even want to be here. That was hilarious.
What's your goal? To go home. I was like, yes.
I'm with you.
Mood. So it's interesting because you see at the end of season 3, they get whooped by the big 3 in a sense, and then by the start of season 5, it seems like they can kind of hold their own in a sense, even though they're not going against Mirio Togata. Like they were whooped by Lemillion, like 1 on 20 or at least 1 on 18. But it seems like, they've got at least a hold on what they're trying to do. I would love to explain more about this episode, but to be honest, there's not a lot to explain.
There's not much to explain.
There is, when they typically do these kind of like bonus episodes, I kind of wish they would do much more about like a backstory of a hero or something along those lines, because it seems like we always get like some sort of training thing where they have to use their powers to save people, and it's cool. But I mean, they're heroes. We're gonna see them save people for the rest of this damn show. Let me try to figure out why, Earphone Jack Girl, his love for music, or like what's Mineta the perv? What's his backstory? Where does his thing come?
Where did
from?
this happen? Where did the perviness come from?
Right. Where's this Ochako something? I can't stop twinkling. Aoyama. Like, how did he bounce back?
Are you really French?
Yeah.
You still need to know.
Something along those lines. I would just hope for something like that.
Questions that need answers.
Yes, questions that need answers. But I guess they wanted to start it off by reminding us, like, powers, and they have them. Post credits is where everything begins. We see Endeavor at the hospital, kind of recalling everything that happened after his victory. Hawk shows up to support him. At the end of the fight, Hawk shows up to support him and hold him up, and then suddenly a villain, as they all do, come out the murkiness, come out the darkness, come out the shadows, the smoke, whatever it is, and it is Dabi. To which he says, "Anyway, our first time meeting, right, Endeavor?" Which
Woo! Is like, turn up.
I mean, I don't know if everyone knows at this point. I feel like a majority of people know.
I think so at this point.
Like, are you catching what I'm throwing, Victoria?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right, never mind.
No, we're not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything.
All right, so I'm not gonna say anything in terms of their relationship. But
Hey, no, honestly, I got the Dobby Funko Pop. That it's went up like 30% in price.
Really?
Yes, in value, I should say.
And
That's
it was already
serious.
pretty expensive. Yeah.
It
So
was it was already pretty expensive. Yeah.
um, well, I wrote him in my notes as Gabi. Hilarious. Um,
What is wrong with you?
Dobby shows up. I got Gabi on the brain. Dobby shows up,
Yeah.
first time meeting, and the end, the final scene. I think Endeavor. I mean, not sorry. Dobby and Hawks meet up in a warehouse in the final scene, and we also get a look at sort of the vestiges of League, and the League of Villains, and kind of all of it. What are you guys expecting from season 5 of My Hero Academia?
Um, I want a little bit more death, man.
Death or
Death,
death? I thought you said death.
death,
No,
death.
you
People
got Attack
dying.
on Titan on the brain, my friend. This is a
Yeah, I
different
know,
show.
right? Somebody got to go, man. It only I want to cry a little bit, get a little bit emotional. They just gave us a death, actually. I don't know what I'm talking about, but
I was
still,
thinking, Lemillion don't got his powers. That was sad.
yeah.
Yeah,
Let's get Lemillion's powers back.
Yeah, I want him
Mm,
to get his powers back. I don't know. I want more. I like the villains are interesting to me,
More
and
villains.
more villains, more like tell me what they're up to. I want to know what's going on over there.
interesting.
And more time out of the school.
Yeah, I mean, to
Yeah.
be honest with you, I think
Mhm.
what we can expect from season 5 is
And don't
it's.
tell us
I'm not
what
gonna
to
tell
what
you.
to
I'm not
do.
gonna say. I'm legit. You can't see it now because we're talking via audio, but I'm looking up at my ceiling trying to figure out how
Okay,
good
cool,
ways
cool.
not to tell you.
Because I thought you were about to be like, so one good way to tell you about season 5, and then you tell us actually about season 5. That'd be really
No,
slick.
what I can say is that the running theme of the lack of the lack of All Might in the show was such a pivotal moment to the show of how society has changed and adapted and has transformed because there is no true symbol of peace. That will 100% continue in this show. And I know it will continue in a big way. The lack of a symbol of peace, the continuing theme of what happened in season 3, of when All Might lost and he suddenly, essentially, his powers are kind of gone, and the entire city. You saw it in sort of season 4 with the rise of the Yakuza, the Shiei Saikai,
Hmm.
and sort of this giant Nomu coming in and kind of scaring people, and people not really being sure of what's going on. It's like, can we really trust Endeavor? Like, he's kind of a prick, But that sort of continuing to figure out how society continues to adapt without a symbol of peace will continue. Wow, there we go. I don't know.
We'll
That's the
continue.
best way I could do it. That's the best way I could do it. Um, and I mean that on all fronts, whether it's like heroes rising to the occasion or
Hmm.
villains rising to the occasion. There's clearly a gap, and it has to be filled in some way, one way or another. And that's what I'll say. What people can expect from season 5 of My Hero Academia. Um,
I'm excited for it nonetheless. You already know how I feel about My Hero, man. I need it. I do need it.
I agree. I agree. And we got a movie coming up, World Heroes Mission.
We
So
do. We do.
we have that to look forward to. It's interesting. The last movie that I saw in theaters was an anime movie, and probably the first one I'm going to see in theaters again is an anime movie. I feel
Oh,
better now.
I do want to ask you, Mills, because I didn't get a chance to like text you about it because I was going to ask you on here. The whole, maybe they're transitioning into the final arc in the manga, and then like I also read that, yeah, but it may take a few years to finish the final arc.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, I'm okay with that, but I wanted to see how you felt. Is that kind of what you think is how's it going to be? It's going to be one of those arcs where it just extends into mini arcs
So my idea of it has always been My
without
Hero
giving up anything.
has, as much as they're in arcs, they also have sagas.
Hmm.
And there's the saga before All Might gets canned, and then there's the saga after All Might gets canned. And I think we're entering the final part of it. So it's kind of a new saga, but it's, I would say, the final one, which is
Gotcha.
going to feature a lot of different arcs to it.
Okay.
I
With
think.
okay, yeah, that's fair.
I think. But yeah, there's plenty of, if you manage to avoid the manga spoilers, good on you, because Oh boy, they're out there. But the show continues to get better. I think My Hero is one of the best kind of animes out there because they kind of take you see something and it's like, oh, it's about heroes and fighting a lot of stuff, but a lot of it is really just more society issues and how people interact with each other and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And
Gosh.
and there's a hero aspect to it in terms of saving people and their ethics and stuff dealing with that, but I think a lot of it's like a look on society and kind of how we treat one another and how um, we would react to sort of these different situations. So yeah, um, I'm looking forward to season 5 of My Hero Academia. Also, want to give a big thanks to Victoria for finally. It's been long overdue.
Yeah, man.
Um,
I'm so happy you came on here for real.
Thanks for inviting me. Oh, this was awesome. This was so much fun. Like I've been wanting to come on the show for a while. Like I've been following y'all for a while, and of course, Mia's we known each other since college. So yeah. And the other thing I didn't mention before was that the graphics for the Lookout I've actually looked at when I was trying to come up with the graphics from Salem Fan Club. So shout out to
ooh,
y'all
Oh
for that too.
wow.
Yeah.
wow. Listen,
I know Mills loves that because I mean you already know the type of man he is, so
Yeah.
I'm sure you know that process. But we really do like appreciate it. I know for me from the bottom of my heart, I know there's we have some people in the show it wouldn't have happened without you, and we're very very blessed to just be a part of the campaign, and we'll obviously keep supporting you throughout. And the shit that you're doing is honestly phenomenal and it's groundbreaking, and you should be proud of yourself every day because it's that good.
Thank you. I got imposter syndrome, so this is helping me a lot. But
but
yeah,
listen,
it's the same for y'all though. Y'all are doing amazing things. Like podcast is amazing. Like this like Titan Time sound is just like so fun. Like of a title. I mean, that's just so creative. But yeah.
absolutely. Well, listen. There's an argument currently about the big three of anime. They don't know the big
What's the big
three.
three?
The
What's the
big
big
three.
three, Mills?
Do
We
you
gonna
really
do
want to
this real
know?
quick?
The big three is all right. I'll say this for sure. The big three is
Just
definitely
say it.
One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach. But I say this because
Really? That's how you feel?
no, I no. But the big three represents three animes in a certain era. It doesn't represent like these are the biggest three of all
Oh,
time.
okay.
It
Okay.
represents three of an.
I
That's
don't
when
like that. I don't like that.
that's when the
I don't
term was
like era
coined.
talk.
Yeah, that's when the term was coined. If it was coined earlier, Dragon Ball Z would be in the big three. I think Sailor Moon would be in the big three. I think probably one other show would be in the big three. But this is more so. It was coined in I guess the aughts, the two
Mm,
thousands, um, when that second wave of anime that became popular came to be, which was Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto. So it was
I
coined
guess.
that. And then I think if I had to do a big three for this era, oof, what do I say?
Well, it's tough. It's tough to say. I think Attack on Titan is on the list. Period. I
Attack on
think it's
Titan, I
just
feel like it's in a league of its own, man.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
really hard to go against the grain for anything. I don't like the era stuff. It's tough for me, dude. I'd rather just call it how I see it. I
Call it how I
mean,
see it.
yeah, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is
Oh, okay.
godly. I mean, there's still nothing like. I mean, it's tough. It's tough.
Absolutely. Well, we the big three. How's the answer to that
Yeah,
question?
I
Love
like
it.
it. I like it.
Me, Jeff, Victoria, we're the big three. And we will see you guys next time on the lookout. Thank you guys
Yes.
for tuning in. Take care.